Okay, let's get going with the technique of how we're going to set the side edge bevel angle and sharpen the edge. I start roughing out with my 13 teeth per centimeter file, my medium chrome file, and it's locked into my guide, and I'm making smooth, clean, overlapping strokes, and I'm only pulling in one direction. It may appear that the file's moving too, but I'm only pulling in one. I now move to my finer file, or my second cut chrome file, which is 16 teeth per centimeter, and once again I'm overlapping my strokes to smooth out any of the roughness from my original file, and I'm getting that as clean, as smooth as I can. I'm constantly brushing out my file and brushing out the ski edge so I'm not getting any of that debris loaded back into the base or the side wall. At this point, I want to blend all of my filing together and smooth out the edge, so I begin with polishing by paper wrapped around a file. I clamp that into my guide, and at this time I also want to remind you that I'm always going to use water on paper or any type of polishing tools, just so they cut cleanly, they don't fill up with any debris and dirt, and they keep the temperature cool while I'm polishing. So with polishing paper, I can move bidirectionally. I can go back and forth with no ill effect on the side edge of the ski. We're simply polishing the side edge portion of the edge, moving in both directions, tip to tail, tail to tip, and we're blending that all in and getting rid of any of the roughness caused by my filing. After I finish with my paper, I now want to polish out with a hard stone. My personal choice would be a ceramic stone like this one in my hand that's very smooth and very fine. I'll put water on it, I'll put water on the edge, and once again I'm going to move in both directions, tail to tip, tip to tail, and I'm polishing out any roughness that I may have presented from the paper. So this will harden the edge, this will polish the edge, and make it super clean and fast on the snow. So back and forth I go, tip to tail to tip, until I feel that I've got a really clean, polished edge. At this point, the process is done. I've shaped my side edge, I've sharpened my side edge, I've polished my side edge. I'm going to clean off any moisture, take a look at what I've got, and then I'll flip the ski over and do the very last important step, which is to take the burr that's been created from my filing and polishing off of the base edge side so that my edge remains very sharp but very, very smooth. So my goal at this point is to be able to have that edge dig into ice and hard snow and not have any control problems which may come from any burr that may be left on the base edge side. I use a little bit of fiberline to just polish out the base material and rub out any rough spots that might have been created from my filing. And now I take my 400 grit sandpaper and I'm going to use that freehand on the base edge side of the ski. So a little bit of water to help it cut better and cut smoothly. I love to do this freehand, and I use my thumb as the tool so I can feel exactly what's going on. The more pull I get against this paper, the more burr I know exists on the downside edge. I'll run two directions, tip to tail to tip, and do both edges at the same time. So down one side, down the other. And once I've got the feeling across the entire edge, I'll then round off the part of the edge that's not contacting the snow at the tip and at the tail. I just hold the paper at about 45 degrees, rub it back and forth quickly with light pressure, which will just help make sure that I never hang up on the tip or the tail edge at any time while I'm skiing. And I leave the ski virtually sharp to the contact point. With modern shape skis, that's somewhat important. Clean the ski off, and now we're going to inspect to see just what we've done. When I've got this edge exactly how I want it, I should be able to run the skin on my fingers lightly down the edge without it drawing blood or cutting my finger. And then I should be able to flick my nail at a 45-degree angle just to see how sharp and true the edge is. So if you can run your finger down the edge without cutting it and get a little bit of nail off when you pull against it at 45 degrees, you've got an edge that's super smooth, super clean, super sharp, and it's going to be easy to get edge grip, and it's going to be easy to release it out of the turn when you want.